just capsized into the cliff.
According to police reports, about 7 persons may have been on the van, but Patrickson thinks it was about 10 persons.
But only 10 people. One is his kid and one is the other person and one is his girlfriend called Zabella and two other guys from St. Joe and one from Salisbury. And his name is Robert Smith. I am Patrickson Sylvester.
The death of Herbert brings to 8 the number of road fatalities for the year. Herbert was 28 and had 2 children. In related news, police report that at Coconut Beach, a major hub of activity over the weekend, tear gas was discharged among the crowd, affecting a number of persons. Portsmouth police are investigating. In a separate incident, police report that a young man of Daly's has been arrested after inflicting injuries on another with a knife in the White River area. He too sustained injuries to 3 fingers on his hand and is in stable condition at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Police report another incident involving Toyota pickup number 4811 driven by Wilfred Williams of Larond that ran off the road into a banana shed in the Tefem area. Tony Hill, a passenger, also of Larond, has been admitted to the Princess Margaret Hospital with serious head injuries. 2 other passengers were also treated for minor injuries and discharged. Police sources say that in addition there were a number of minor accidents and incidents over the long August Monday weekend. Teammates, a production by the OECS Theatre Workshop 1994, proved to be more than that. The performance, part of Domfesta 94, was the result of a 2-week workshop tutored by Alwin Bully and Earl Warner. There was something for everyone: political pieces, comedy, and a children's story told in traditional style. The highlight of the colorful and lively display was a piece written by the participants of the workshop themselves. Alwin Bully gave an insight into the idea behind the play.
Well, the piece on Haiti we regarded as very, very important and very special. Throughout the workshops we were holding discussions on Haiti because we feel that theater has to make a serious and important statement about things that are current and things that affect people's lives. Art and everything else in the Caribbean has to lead towards development and has to lead towards an educating of people.
The play was the product of endless research and great enthusiasm, according to Mr. Bully. The cast developed the piece in only 5 days, but the quality was such that more has been called for.
In fact, some people are asking us, why don't we develop it and take it around the Caribbean so that it can bring home the situation of Haiti to more people in the Eastern Caribbean.
Mr. Bully hopes that funding will allow for an annual drama workshop hosted on different islands. As part of the Domfesta celebration, the Kadas Festival concluded Domfesta on Saturday evening. It showcased the best of Dominica's exponents of the art form, Kadas. Nature Boys of Cassie Bruce, Ophelia, Jerry Lloyd, T-Bois of Woodford Hill, Midnight Groovers, Gordon Henderson, all gave a performance to be reckoned with. Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence says overall participation this year was encouraging.
We thought that the shows that we tried to present were well appreciated by the general public. We thought too that the public, members of the public themselves supported the shows, and we were very encouraged by that. We thought too that sponsorship, although we thought it could have been a lot better, it was still forthcoming in spite of the fact that some of the sponsors claimed that things were bad and things were difficult. Yet we still got some assistance from some members of the private sector, so we were very grateful for that. Generally speaking, the cultural groups, individuals, the performing artists were all very willing, very keen, very enthusiastic about participating in Domfesta this year. I remember 2 years ago when we used to have Domfesta, a lot of people used to be leaving Dominica to go overseas during that time, the summer period, especially groups and bands and so. Now quite a few of them are staying for Domfesta, which is another good sign that something is happening in Dominica, and some of the groups are actually remaining in Dominica to participate in this. So I think all in all, we thought that Domfesta worked well. Of course, room for improvement in areas like that. We have not yet had our review or evaluation of the festival. When we do that, we will look at the weaknesses, the things that went wrong. We'll also look at the things that went well, and try to plan for next year to try to make it an even better festival.
The news will continue after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Diamond Dairy nutritious drinks. We parents love the value, the children love the taste.
Drinks from Diamond Dairy.
It's more than a hardware, it's a local tradition. It's more than important essentials, it's your best pick. It's L.A. Jupini Hardware. For years, serving you not only exclusive kitchen sinks, American and British toilet sets to choose. It's a menu of quality items and more. There's Giant Drawer 94. This time, 2 vehicles free. A $47,000 Nissan pickup, plus this electric car for more petite. Tickets free with every $100 purchase. For convenience, quality selection, check the score. L.A. Jupini gives you more.
Dominica, nature island of the Caribbean. Pristine waterfalls, unspoilt beaches, lush green rainforest. But it won't stay this way if we let this continue. Take care and share. Tourism is everybody's business.
It just doesn't taste the same without it.
Boat races and swimming competitions were part of the weekend activities to end a week-long celebration in the Soufriere Scots Head community. The village council and fishermen were all praised for the high level of cooperation.
Fishermen have cooperated, and we hope that this level of cooperation will augur well for the future. We've had a lot of cooperation between the Fisheries Division, the Scots Head Improvement Committee, the Village Council, and I've been very pleased to work very closely with them. And the villagers themselves have come out in large numbers. And
I believe this year's feast was the best feast ever since we have been organizing the Feast of St. Peter's in Soufriere Scots at Galleon. This year we get the fishermen coming closer toward us. We work closer with them and everything went up fine. Especially the week of activity we organized, we get a lot of participation from the people in the community, especially the fishermen.
An exhibition also formed part of the week's activities. It highlighted some of the work done by the Fisheries Division with the fishermen of the area.
It highlights some of the types of assistance we've been given to the fishermen, and as well it shows some of the new gear and methods, technology we've been introducing into the area. What we want to portray to people as well in that exhibition is the level of safety that should be introduced into the fisheries. We have on display life jackets and other distress sort of equipment that will assist fishermen in case of any mishap out at sea.
Winners of the various competitions held during the week-long celebration received their prizes at the weekend. It is the kind of story you would term a fairy tale, but even fairy tales can be true. After 2 years and many thousands of miles, a bottle shows up on the northeast coast of the Nature Isle. Found accidentally by the mother of Bertilia Burton of the Carib territory, it ended a 2-year journey that began somewhere in the Indian Ocean.
She saw a bottle with a paper in it by the bayside, and she took it and she uncovered it, and there was a paper in it. When we went home, it was all torn up. When we went home, she put it together, and it was saying that a girl from Sweden wanted a pen friend.
Since then, the young ladies have begun corresponding, exchanging information about each other and their countries.
When she wrote the letter, she was 10 years old. Now she's 12. And she lives in Visby, that's Gotland in Sweden. So she told me a little about where she lived. And when I will reply her, I'll tell her about the Carib Reserve and about Dominica.
A major driving force behind all this has been Peace Corps volunteer Michael Day, who believes it's fantastic that something like this should occur.
I just found the whole story quite amazing, that this bottle, which was thrown off of a ship in the Indian Ocean while a girl was traveling to Japan, would reach all the way to Dominica to a friend of mine's hands. I found the whole story so amazing that I helped her write the letters in response and try to maintain contact. And hopefully we can grow on that and help her build a relationship. This is quite a special occasion, I think.
Surely a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We go to another commercial break, and we'll be back in just a moment with some items from the region. Stay tuned.
Keep on running. Keep on going. If you want to make the winning team, you got to drink your Ovaltine.
Health, strength, and energy. That's the goodness of Ovaltine.
Keep on going. If you want to make the winning team, you got to drink your Ovaltine. Keep on winning.
Some people take the business of flying and crawling insect control a lot more seriously than others. That's why these insecticides kill 90% of all household insects within 30 seconds. Shell Tox, a better way to protect your home.
This is our favorite shopping center, Widget Supercenter, selling 100% quality to its customers since 1975. What you eat is important, so at Widget we know what you want. Make your choice from the largest, freshest, and tastiest variety of items. And the price, that is right. You deserve first-class service. Widget Supercenter, we take care of every item on your shopping list. Oja le kote Widget, no?
Regionally, our local farmers are not the only one experiencing drought. In Barbados, farmers are asking for rain. Daily, farmers lose animals and crops. Via Walcott reports.
Ribs on this cow and a 2-inch crack in the earth sum up the story of a dry season that's claiming dozens of animals every week. CBC spent part of today in the field with veterinarian Dr. Dennis Blackman, as he in his twin cab van moved from small farmer to small farmer, witnessing the grim situation.
I have clients who tell me that they've buried 2 or 3 animals in the last few weeks. So the situation is really very serious. And even if we do get rain right now, which it does not appear is going to happen, then it will still take about 2, 3, 4 months for the pastures to recover to the point where they can sustain the animals out there.
Several members of the Allen family from Leiders own cows. To date, 3 have died and 2 others are on their last leg. But the vet has come up with 2 popular wayside shrubs that could help. They are Mere Mossy, or River Tamarind, and Womantown.
Both of these trees tend to stay very green, as you can see, during the dry season. They're both high in protein and can be used for feeding animals during this period of the year. Outside it's very dry. It will at least keep the animals alive during the dry season.
Dr. Blackman is recommending some additional measures. He says keep the animals in more shade, give them adequate water, approximately 30 gallons a day, and not the 1 or 2 buckets, as well as supplementary bag feed. The vet says the biggest threat is to cattle late in pregnancy. These sheep at Sanford were picking between the rocks, while the cows seem to prefer laying in the sun than grapple with the hardship. Or maybe they were adhering to the sign which prohibited grazing. With the on and off showers, the pastures around the island are beginning to turn from brown to green, but for many of the cattle, it might be a change too late.
In Trinidad, a road accident left 4 members of one family dead. One of them, a driving instructor. Details in this report from Daily Unark.
Here is that Faiz Mohammed was a driving instructor. The Datsun 120Y is the same vehicle he used for lessons. The outing with his mother, son, and wife of 2 years was planned 2 days ago. The Aranguez family spent the day at Manzanilla Beach, and it was on their return trip some 2 miles from their home, death struck on the highway. The grief-stricken family is still in shock over the tragedy, which crept up on them unexpectedly. Close relative Bobby Edu describes the information given to them about the collision.
As far as we hear is that they were coming down and a vehicle, I think a Mazda 3-ton truck, broke on Major Road and ran into the left front of the vehicle.
According to family members, Faiz had been a driving instructor for several years. This was his first accident ever. 3 other members of the Mohammed family, Shamin Kalu, Farida Mohammed, and 11-year-old Melissa Kalu, are still on the critical list at hospital.
Life in Haiti continues. In this report from Linda Portello, we see the influence of the only Creole newspaper in Haiti.
Every Sunday outside the churches where Haiti's poor congregate, vendors come to sell a weekly newspaper called Liberté, Creole for freedom. Those who cannot read have Liberté read to them. Liberté is the only newspaper published in Creole, the language of 90% of the people. The only newspaper that prints what the military does not want to see.
The other newspapers give you the Army's line, the de facto government's point of view. Liberté is the only newspaper that tells you the truth. Just reading it gives you strength.
In the tiny Liberté office, reporters use computers powered by car batteries to write articles about exiled President Jean-Bertrand Aristide. In one issue, an editorial says for Aristide to return, the coup leaders must be pushed out of power. There are articles on political violence with graphic photographs of its victims, and a cartoon makes fun of military leader Raoul Cedras. No other newspaper here would publish any of that. That is why the Liberté staff takes so many precautions. They do not publicize the location of their office. And for their own protection, none of the Haitian staff members would allow themselves to be photographed.
It is very dangerous for us. They've arrested us, they've beaten us up and torn up our papers. We've always suffered the worst repression when there is a picture of Aristide on the front page.
Father Jean-Yves Urfier is a French priest and the editor of Liberté. He says the military-backed government issues almost weekly warnings to the press not to criticize Haiti's military leaders.
By and by, they are limiting our freedom. It's shrinking, and we don't know how far they will go. In this country, anyone who speaks the truth is in danger, because they don't want to hear the truth. The truth is so terrible.
The military has not crushed this little bit of truth yet. The irony is that the international embargo may shut down Liberté's presses first. The printer is running out of paper. Once the dwindling supply is gone, Liberté will stop publishing.
The experienced brother and sister duo of Colleen and James Leacock took first place at the CBU's 11th Song Festival at the weekend. But of greater interest was the second place winner, Charlene Ann of St. Lucia. Vaughn Noel reports.
From the start of the show, according to the judges' score sheet, missed the winning position by some 4 points. The young lady is now the proud holder of a second-place trophy and some $2,500 US. Meanwhile, Shelly Ann's family is even more excited about her victory. Caribbean Evening News caught up with a very excited Loretta Favre, Shelly Ann's mother.
Well, I feel very proud of Shelly Ann. I was happy, extremely happy, when I heard she won, even though she did not come first, but she placed second, and I was very, very happy. Shelly Ann is a little child. She's 17, and she's very obedient. She's just like a babe to me, and I'm trying my best with her. And I'm looking forward for Shelly Ann to do greater things in time to come. Shelly Ann started singing from the age of 6. And from then I have been encouraging her. I'm praying with her, always encourage her, always advise her to do the right thing.
The weather is after this break. Stay tuned.
Heineken Premier League Soccer Jug. Take along your 3 Heineken crowns and just $5 to the redemption centers, and a Heineken Premier League jug will be yours to taste the world. See press for details.
And now for a look at the weather, valid up until 9 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday. The satellite picture shows a number of tropical waves moving westerly across the northern sections of South America. These are generating scattered showers and some thunder showers. Elsewhere across the Caribbean, generally fair weather can be expected. Now for a look at the tropical weather summary. Scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms are covering a large portion of the northern Gulf of Mexico. This is associated with a mid to upper level low pressure trough. There are currently no signs of organization. Although conditions are not currently favorable for storm formation, this area will be closely watched during the next day or two for signs of development. Elsewhere across the Caribbean, there's no sign of any significant activity. Now for a look at the area weather map. That shows we can expect some scattered showers and some isolated thunder showers during tonight and early tomorrow. But generally across Dominica, fair weather can be expected. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:49. We can expect daytime highs of 31 degrees Celsius, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Evening lows, 26 degrees centigrade, 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Barometric pressure, 1017 millibars. The wind will be from the east-southeast to east-northeast, gusting from between 15 to 25 knots. Waves will be about 7 to 9 feet. The weather concludes tonight's edition of the news. We thank you for viewing. Until tomorrow evening, good night.
He realized that it was a suicide note. In the note contained directions, apparently from Peter Kaufman, on how a body might be found. Acting on that, Superintendent Darrow searched the immediate vicinity, and shortly thereafter, he found the body of Peter Kaufman hanging from a tree. There was another package addressed to Mr. De Freitas, the attorney. At this time, it is not known what it might have contained.
Workers at the restaurant said Mr. Kaufman was very troubled by the intense investigations of the police.
He tell me he's feeling bad and they are harassing him bad. And he's certainly sure that he didn't do anything like that and they are harassing him so bad.
Mr. Kaufman apparently gave every indication of his intention to depart. Yesterday, he took care of his business, paid his workers, and got one to sign business papers at the bank.
Yesterday when I was going home, he called me. And he gave me 2 envelopes. When I opened it, I saw it. One was $100. He gave me $100. And he gave me one for my daughter. It had 40. And he hugged me. He told me to take care of myself and take care of Jean. And that's what he said. He took her to the bank yesterday and they had to sign some papers. And after I was up here me alone, and after they came up, and he settled some business he had to do. He settled everything. He put some rum in a bottle for another man, and we left. And that was the end of it until this morning we came and we saw the body on the tree.
According to a notebook left behind by Mr. Kaufman, today, August 4th, his 57th birthday, seemed, quote, the best time to do it, unquote. The Carib community witnessed a double ceremony on Tuesday. 7 councillors were sworn in and the Carib chief was invested. In welcoming the gathering, Master of Ceremony and Councillor Julius Corriett reminded the Caribs of their proud heritage.
Of fresh running water in our homes. Or you will not hear the hiss of pressure cookers as you drive by our modest wooden cottages. But we have a rich heritage, a unique and priceless culture, a history of which we as Caribs are very proud.
6 councillors, 5 men and 1 woman, were sworn in by His Excellency Crispin Sorrento. Each councillor had a turn to express thanks and to further promise to serve. Parliamentary Representative Honorable Francois Barry reminded the councillors and the community of the need to work towards uplifting the territory.
But development of the Carib territory must continue. I want at this time to congratulate both the Carib chief and his councillors.
Right after a brief performance by the Carifuna Youth Group, Minister of Community Development, Honorable Henry George, praised the Carib people for their keen interest and large turnout.
During the Carib chief elections, and the interest that was further displayed during the council elections, and your presence looks good for the future. And I believe you need to congratulate yourself, because I think that's the first time we have had such a good attendance on a weekday during our inauguration. So give yourself, people, a round of applause for that.
The entire ceremony will air on Mapping Television Channel 5 on Sunday at midday. The scenic beauty of the Indian River may soon be further preserved. Plans are afoot to include the area in the National Parks system. Encore's local site manager at Portsmouth, Thomas Paul, says the first move involves some consultancy work, researching the project's feasibility.
With the relevant technical information data. That is, A, to prepare the appropriate legislation to include the subject areas in the country's national park, and 2, to develop the regulations for the economically and environmentally sound management. The consultancy will be conducted by a team of 4 specialists, 2 international and 2 nationals of Dominica. The fact that increasingly since after the completion of the cruise ship berth and the whole ecotourism development in Dominica and in Portsmouth, the Indian River has been receiving quite an amount of visitors. As a matter of fact, to quote Mr. Ed, who says, in the space of 3 to 4 months, a total of $51,000 was made by the people in Indian River, and that is a substantial amount. and that is dealing with Gary Ettors alone. But we see, however, that if the resource is not used properly, if there's